Welcome back to How Much Yarn Can I Use in the Month of July? It is week 4, and I have not done a very good job about filming this week. Saturday is normally when I edit the week before and then start the next week's, and it was another really bad storm day. We had severe thunderstorms, hail, high winds, tornado warnings. Luckily nothing fully formed and touched down, but there were a few formations, so that was a very stressful day. So I didn't really end up making anything that day. I did end up using another skein of that cotton color that I have, the I Love This Cotton in the color Sage, that I'm using to work on a top that I talked a bit about in my last video. Again, I'll show you when it's done. There's no reason to just show you panels of a top that isn't finished. So whenever I get around to finishing it, I'll show you. But that is one skein down for Saturday, and that is all that I ended up crocheting. On Sunday, I made some little rainbow mushrooms, and I started a raccoon snuggler that I had ended up finishing on Monday. But like I said, I wasn't very good about filming. I only ended up filming one clip, so I'll insert that here. Okay, so far this week, I have made a few of my little rainbow mushroom guys. I made 4 of them. And then I have to embroider the eyes, but I made a little raccoon snuggler. And I really like the paws. The cat paws on the cat snuggler are cute, but I think the raccoon ones are like, the little club hands are so cute. So I'll definitely be making another one of these again. Yeah, not a lot to work with. So we're going to try and do better for the rest of the week. On Monday, I ended up crocheting a turtle. So I used the shell I made out of the Premier Basics tie-dye kaleidoscope. That was kind of the wrap-up of those frogs and dragon that I made last time. This is what the rest of the skein was. And then I used the Bernat blanket in the color Clary Sage for the turtle's body. And I've almost finished that skein up. I have the wrapper with me. I will end up finishing it. I made another set of turtle parts, so that way I can make another turtle and left enough left over for the little underbelly part whenever I do end up making another turtle shell. And then I also started a dragon snuggler, finished it on Tuesday, but I used that Clary Sage for the wings. And then this is a Bernat baby blanket frosting color. I'm not quite sure off the name at the top of my head. And that's really cute. I still have to embroider the eyes and stuff the feet. But as you've seen, if you've watched any of my other videos and I do the snugglers, I'm on a crochet kick. I don't really want to stop and embroider the eyes, or I run out of stuffing and I leave enough for the heads, because the feet are usually the only things that, besides the head, need stuffing. So I have a pile of feet and eyes I need to embroider, or feet I need to stuff and eyes I need to embroider, that I will just eventually do. So that was kind of Monday, Tuesday. Tuesday night, I started a cat head, working on finishing up the cat's body, legs, arms, and tail, which I will get done today. I spent the morning, today's Wednesday, I spent the morning tagging up the giant bag of plushies I've made so far in the month of July. So I was tagging those, set those aside, and now ready to fill up another bag of more plushies. So now you're caught up. Again, sorry that there's not too much to this video yet. Hopefully there will be plenty more after, but we will see. So I'm going to finish the cat, and then I'll show you what I do next. Okay, I finished the cat. I used the color Tabby by Bernat Baby Blanket. I do love this like variegated, almost frosted, speckled, I don't know what you would call it, multicolors that the Bernat Baby Blanket line has. Unfortunately, I've never been able to find it in stores, so I have to order online and hope I get a good batch, but I haven't been disappointed so far. So I did the cat and I gave it white paws and white feet. So that's done and going in my to finish pile. After that, I took out the rest of that Bernat Baby Blanket frosted color, which I did find, and it is Seaside. So it's like a nice like blue, different blue shades and stuff. And I was able to finish one, Drift the Octopus. And I almost finished the second. I unfortunately lost Yarn Chicken with 4 stitches left in the entire project. So I'm going to find a close enough color. It does have some green. It's so close to the end. Only will notice. Quick lore drop on the Drift the Octopi here. At my booth, we call them Krakens. The reason we do this is because I am an elementary school art teacher and my mom is a pre-K assistant. And there was a student who had an obsession with Krakens. Kraken everything. He drew Krakens. He collected Krakens. He read stories about Krakens. He learned to spell with Krakens. Krakens everything. He had such a passion for them that his joy kind of seeped into our joy, and his obsession kind of became ours. And so we call them Krakens because it just reminds us of him and just how happy it makes him, so it makes us happy. So you won't find an octopus at our booth. You will find Krakens. Okay, so I did end up making one more. It's now 8 o'clock, so I am going to stop. But I finished up that second drift that I had lost Yarn Chicken on. Again, the color that's closest to us is like a light blue and like really bright green variegation. And so this one just has a green dot because that is literally how much yarn I needed left. It was so close. So that's 2 drifts or Krakens. And then while I had the yarn out, I just ended up making a third with that blue green. Sorry if the lighting's not the best. It is 8 p.m. So that's 3 Krakens and a cat snuggler done for today. And that's 2 skeins of yarn, one for the cat and one for the Drift the Octopus. All right, today's one of those better late than never kind of days. It is past 9 p.m. But I'm going to show you what I did end up crocheting today. So I started my day with a Drift the Octopus or a Kraken, as I've already mentioned, and I did it in the color Canyon, which is that orange mystical color. Super cute. That'll be the last Kraken I'm making unless I sell some. And then I worked on a hoodie bear. I have to attach the nose, but I finished up that skein of that Bernat frosting, which I did look, and it's the color Meadow. So I did finish up that one. So that is 1 skein for today. And then the brown is the color Mocha by Bernat Brights from the Mama Made Minis collection. And that is of what I finished today. I then have started a cow using the Nooks Hooks cow pattern. As you can see, he doesn't have a head, or she doesn't have a head yet. So that'll be the thing I finish tomorrow. And then we'll see what else I make. But I mean, whatever you see tomorrow will be the end. So we'll wrap up the video tomorrow and just count up all the yarn skeins used. Okay, so this week was a little bit more productive than it seems in this video. It was more so behind the scenes than necessarily crochet. But I did end up using 2 skeins of yarn today. Here is the cow that I finished this morning. I did most of the body last night, and this morning I finished the head. I used white Bernat blanket, sand by the Premier Brights, Mocha, and Blossom. And then I also have 18mm resin synchronize. And on the trend of cows, I made Cope the Cow, the spotted version, using the pattern by Mama Made Minis. So since this is a snuggler, only the head and then the little hooves are stuffed. Haven't done the bottom yet or embroidered the eyes. And I used the color Birch by Bernat Blanket. This is more of that sand, Mocha, and then the rest of the tabby. So this was almost kind of like a scrap project because I had a bit of sand left, enough to finish the project. I had a bit of tabby left. Not quite enough, but enough to make the spots. And then the mocha, which I just have a scrap amount left. So I'm counting it done because it is not enough to make another project with. So that's 2 items for today and 3 skeins of yarn. So in total, I've used a skein of sage, scrap of bright purple by Bernat Blanket. Don't have a band for it, but we're counting it. I finished up and used a skein of pewter. I finished a skein of tabby. I finished a skein of seaside, 1 skein of meadow, a skein of mocha, and a skein of sand. Altogether, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the scrap 8 skeins of yarn for this week. So we will add it to our total, and we have 1 week left to use more yarn. I will say, as we're coming to a close here, I'm going to try to remain consistent with posting. I do have a little bit of a vendor event on Saturday, August 1st. So it'll be the day that the next video is posting, hoping that I can get that on time. But if you are in the Frederick area, I will be at the local Michael's with a table from 11 to 4. And I'm going to attempt to record some stuff for that I'll end up posting. But you'll just have to stay tuned. And if you are in Frederick and want to come by on August 1st to Michael's to see me or see my stuff in person, please stop on by. I would love to see you. So that is it for this video. So have a great rest of your day. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next Saturday.